You guys probably clicked that video, having some belly fat, having troubles to get rid of it. Let's get real for a second. What if everything you've been told about losing that stubborn belly fat, the visceral fat wrapped around the organs, is missing the biggest piece of the puzzle? The most important trick, the insulin trick, which I will reveal to you here towards the end of the video. Ladies and gentlemen, trainers scream, eat less, move more, basically starve yourself, right? But for so many, that visceral fat around the organs just will not go away. Even if you're losing body fat, there is some belly fat just staying there, right? Or like the fat around the heart, around the liver. Well, why? Why? This is the most important one to lose for your longevity, for a happy being, and also, of course, for your six-pack. Because of one hormone, it's called insulin, right? You probably heard about it, but it is secretly sabotaging your efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, multiple randomized controlled trials, which I will leave in the description down below, show that for belly fat, it's not just calories. Yes, it's calories, it's a good proxy, but it's for sure not just calories. High insulin from frequent carb-heavy meals tells your body to store the fat deep in the abdomen. And here's the exciting part. We can hack this system today. Today, I will share the proven strategies from randomized controlled trials that target insulin directly. But stay with me. At the end of the video, I am dropping the single most powerful insulin trick that ties all the things we are learning in that video together and delivers these results to you so fast that I would say Big Pharma doesn't want you to see it. I know that's just like a phrase, but for sure, because it doesn't cost you money, it doesn't really cost you effort, you don't have to starve yourself, and you are losing it quickly. You will not want to miss it. Let's get into it. First of all, we need to understand the science, guys. This is very important to get out straight away. I want to make it as easy as possible so you understand how this trick is applied and how you actually can shed these pounds very quickly. The carbohydrate insulin model, it actually suggests that processed carbohydrates drive fat storage via insulin surges. Supporting this, the 2018 Ebling randomized controlled trial in BM Journal found that during weight maintenance, a low carbohydrate diet boosting daily energy expenditure by 209 calories on average compared to high carbohydrate people, and nearly 500 calories more in high insulin secretors. That is crazy. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, my BMR, base metabolic rate, is like 2050, right? For my weight, it should be like 1700, but I have 2050 because within the last 1 year, I had maybe 2 months where I was really eating carbohydrates and otherwise no, right? Your body literally burns hotter. Your base metabolic rate is higher. While doing nothing, you burn more. And yes, muscles do that, but this specific way of eating does it too. To lose visceral fat specifically, the belly fat, the fat around the organs, look at the 2022 randomized controlled trial. You can see the most important part here, but in the video description down below as well. Participants with metabolic issues doing an 8-hour restricted eating saw significant drops in visceral fat simply by, for example, skipping a breakfast, right? And not snacking in between these 2 meals which are staying. Outperforming standard low carbohydrate diets without the timing. So yes, low carbohydrate is important and the timing. Well, we will put it together. Why? Shorter eating windows mean less overall insulin exposure, more fat burning time. And of course, we know the 16-8 model, right? Where we are fasting for 8 hours, just water and sleeping and stuff, and then eating during an 8-hour window. It's much more powerful to do 18 hours and 6-hour window, or even 20 hours and 4-hour window. Even up to 1 meal a day can be very reasonable depending on how you feel with it. But usually the shorter the fasting window, and especially no snacking, the more powerful it is. The next level is actually protein, your secret weapon. If you don't want to lose more weight, you don't need to apply that specific one. If you are happy with your weight, high fat, moderate protein, no carb is of course a way how you can feel amazing, support your hormone production, have great energy. But while you still want to lose weight, protein is your secret weapon actually. In the 2016 Longland randomized controlled trial, guys in a big calorie deficit, crushing resistance and HIIT workouts, well, the high protein group, which had 2.4 grams per kilogram body weight, that is a lot. If you, for example, weigh 80 grams, that's like basically 200 grams of protein a day, which is what I'm eating right now, even though I want to do keto, but it's so difficult to eat low in protein. They gained 1.2 kilogram of muscle muscle mass and dropped 4.8 kilogram of fat in 4 weeks. That is insane, right? You have to think like dropping body fat so significantly and increasing body muscle mass so significantly. It's really a crazy leverage behind your body composition. And in that second control group with normal protein intake, the group barely held muscle and lost less fat. And that actually led to then an overproportionally less beneficial compared to the first group body composition. So prioritize during your fat loss stage 1.6 to 2.4 grams per kilogram from lean meats or fattier meats if it's within your calories, right? Also fatty fish is great, or lean fish, whatever you feel, right? Eggs, dairy, and then of course, if you want, also plant sources, beautiful, right? I personally feel the best when I'm on high fat, moderate protein, but especially when you lose weight, well, that could be one way to go. Also very important, don't do endless cardio just blindly, right? Cardio is good, but just only cardio, no. Meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials confirm moderate, vigorous aerobic exercise reduces your visceral adipose tissue effectively. But combine it with resistance training 3 to 4 times a week, not just cardio. You need resistance training. Train your muscle for your BMR, the base metabolic rate, for preventing yourself from injury, for your hormone production, for your strength, for your well-being. You need that. It also burns calories, and the muscles burn more calories than the fat on your body, which actually these muscles also act as a sponge for blood sugar, slashing your insulin, which you need long term to be at least slashed to some degree, right? Studies actually show this duo targets belly fat better and preserves your metabolism. Round it out, and that is a non-negotiable with 7 to 9 hours of sleep. If you're a woman, rather more, and also if you are active, whether woman or man, rather more. So if you are active, you should target 8 to 9 hours. If you're very sedentary on that day, well, maybe you can get along with 7 hours. Go with your feeling, but 8 to 9 hours is what I am going for. Researchers link poor sleep to 11% more visceral fat gain. Sleeping more slashes more fat, the visceral fat. That is true because it's connected to the stress. You need to manage your stress too. High cortisol worsens insulin resistance. Ladies and gentlemen, these strategies only work synergistically. Lower insulin spikes with smarter carbohydrate timing and smarter carbohydrate intake, fuel muscle with protein, train smart, and recover hard. And well, I gave this one cliffhanger in the very beginning, this one strong, important insulin trick. It is strategically combining time-restricted eating in a 1 to 6 hour window of eating without snacks, 1 to 2 meals, with, in this case, 18 to 23 hour of fasting window where you can have water and electrolytes unflavored, of course. That in combination with resistance training and high protein meals during your weight loss phase focused in that window is the strongest combination as per the studies. This minimizes daily insulin elevation for deep fat burn, while the weights make your muscles insulin super sensitive. Randomized controlled trials like these elements show superior visceral fat loss, better energy, and less hunger. I can say it. I was on a intermittent fasting ketogenic diet for long term, and I have less than 2% visceral fat, right? While I'm eating like a freaking super champion. I'm telling you, I'm really eating a lot. It's sustainable and transforms your metabolism. Start simple, pick a whatever 12 p.m. lunch, 6 p.m. dinner window or something. Have a walk after your dinner, after your lunch. Hit the weights, eat protein-rich meals, sleep enough, of course. You can do the keto diet also during that time period, and then just for a restricted time. And then if you want to introduce carbs afterwards, beautiful. Track the progress with waist measurements. Don't do it every day. That is demotivating. Do it like every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks. This is backed by science, not by hype. And before you make any big changes, consult your doctor first. I am not a doctor, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel and you watch this very important video. And as always, guys, as always, bye.